Okay, what I've done here is I've drawn a background. For instance, we're going to have an animal coming down through here and coming into this area, and then we may have them turn around and maybe go back up. So that way we get a nice flow through the drawing. We also get to study the dynamics of movement as the animal may come down towards us, then turn direction and perhaps move away from us. Okay? So in this case, now I'm going to close up, and I would start very softly. Don't start this idea with any hard lines in the beginning. You're just getting a feel for it. So I have let's say it's a big cat. So I'm going to close up now, give you the big cat in the corner here. And I'm just going to start with the big cat, and he's crouching. So I start with an armature, and I'm going to see if that will work out for me here. Okay. There's the armature. I'm going to back out again so you can see where it is relevant to the rest of the work. And now I'm going to send that big cat down the hill. So over here I might have a little stretching, because over here he's kind of squashed up, and as he moves down we're going to get him to feel like his body mass is stretching. As he comes towards us, coming this way, we might find that body mass begins to increase. So we not only have to think of his direction, but also his size as he, comes closer to us. So I'm going to armature this out a little bit. And right now it's maybe not a whole lot accurate, because those lines are loose, and I'm going to play with those lines and that volume as the drawing moves along. Okay. I'll give you a close-up. It's just an armature. I've got the shoulder here, the front arm, which is the left arm closest to us, is coming. There's scapula, humerus, ulna radial, and there's the wrist and the foot. Okay, and then behind is the rib cage and the pelvic block here, and there's the thigh. So right now it's loose, and that's okay. That's exactly what I want. I don't want any firm, hard determined lines at this point. This is all feeling it through, a quick sort of idea of what's going to happen. It's not set in stone yet. I'm going to back out. Fortunately, my video camera is working on backing out now. Sometimes it absolutely doesn't. And now I'm going to actually bring this rock shelf out just a bit. I'm going to give this big cat something to land on as he turns towards us. So now I get to play with the form a little bit as it turns and rotates towards us in space. There's the spinal line. Okay. There's the thigh, and I'm going to put this forearm here on this cliff edge, and because now we had that right paw, now it's reaching forward here on the rock. And I'm going to turn the animal in space so he faces us a little more. My lines again are very loose, and working with the nose a little bit and the placement of the eyes. I'm not going to be really heavy on this, just real light, because this can change. This may change as we move the drawing along. And now I'm collapsing the other arm. And I'll bend that wrist a little bit. And then as I come up through the rib cage and the pelvis, I'm going to wrap it around just like that to behind. He's really condensed here. Notice I overlap a little bit with the tail, allowing that tail to kind of brush through the previous form. Well, this is nice. We get a nice rotation of the form. We can still see what's going on with the anatomy. Okay, now I'm going to back out. I'm going to bring the animal a little closer towards us as he comes down here. Since he's supporting with the right arm right here, This left forearm that's closer will be the one to be actually hitting the ground here first. So now I'm going to go a bit larger as I bring the big cat down. And that was a little bit foreshortened here. He's stretched, he's squashed. I'm going to stretch him just a little bit here. Maybe make him move away just a bit more. There's the rib cage. Here's the shoulder girdle. Now he's getting bigger in the diagram here. So I'm bringing his size up just a little. Playing with that mass. And I'm going to turn that pelvis so it looks like his hind end is reaching forward towards us a little bit. Now this leg is really foreshortened. We've got the thigh, because we've got the femur, and behind the femur and patella is the tib fib. You can't see much of it because it's overlapped, and then comes the foot. So he's very foreshortened on this side, very collapsed. Okay, turning the spine to match the rotation of the upper body. You got to make sure the face doesn't wander off and get too strange. Okay, keep the face, you know, in proportion. In the very beginning it's rough, but we'll be tightening that up later. Okay, so now if you look, I've got kind of an interesting sequence started from the top of the cliff coming down. The animal moves, the form changes. Okay, and I will set him. Let's see, he's coming down here. I'll probably base him right here as he comes down, and we get a nice profile of this cat. Okay. Now, we've got the cat rotating. Now I'm going to take him up the cliff. And so we get a little bit of a rear view here. Coming towards the cliff. We've got the rib cage, and we have the pelvis, the rear part of the pelvis. The underline from the center of the chest back. This is kind of rough right now, but you should be able to still feel some of that form as you develop. There's the rear. There's the pelvic, iliac crest to the ischium. And then stepping forward. See, this one's forward. I may make this one come back a little bit. Now there's the hind leg. the pelvis. Notice the pelvis is tilted away from us, away. It's turned with because the right hind is now a bit forward, which rotates the pelvis. It actually bulges the rib cage out to this side, the left. Especially since he's crossing over now, we'll get him crossed over on the front feet. This is the hind, this is the front, right, and the left now is swinging over. And so we can see maybe that paw from underneath as he's rotating that form around here. See? And then we won't probably be able to see his head. We might just see a little bit of his ear as he's rotated that form. And then the tail, of course. So this is all very rough at this point, and then what I can do, once I've decided on my lines, I can actually tighten the whole thing up. So I'm going to back out now and let you see the sweep of the idea. I've got to pull my camera up. There you go. You can start to see now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And of course you could probably put something in here too, but I kind of wanted to just get the idea for you. You'll be doing 7 to 8 poses per motion study. Alright. So now I'm going to send him up the cliff. Okay. Now we get and I might just rotate him through here, get a little platform started, and then take him on up a little bit to the higher level. Okay. So now he's going up. Ooh, nice to make that spine curve as he's coming up the back side. Stepping up with that hind foot to reach, tucking underneath. See, he's got that collapsed leg now. And then this one, now his pelvis is rotating, right? Because now we've got the left leg going forward, the right leg will be stretching back. We get the thigh, the gastrocnemius, the calcaneus, and the foot. And the bridge of the foot and the foot as it stretches back. So now you can see here the overlap of one form in front of the next form. Okay. And this is what gets you, when you understand the form, this is what gets that thing to look a little dimensional, because you're overlapping one shape in front of another. And then we get to see from a flat drawing that it actually has a bit more dimension. So we've got the femur, this is the pelvis, to the ischium. Notice both ischium bones now face us. And then we go 1/3, 2/3 back from the iliac crest forward, and that's where we find the femur, to the patella. This is the tibial head, the head of the tibia. This is the head of the patella there. So you're going to see that it looks almost like there's two little bulges there. Okay. Alright, so coming up through the spine, building the rib cage, we'll see a little bit of the neck, a little bit of the back of the head, and we'll bring the ears out. Okay. And so as he's climbing up, we may not really see a whole lot of the front legs now. Back out so you can see what's going on here. So those front legs and those shoulders are probably not going to be that visible to us. So here he's really severely foreshortened. And you don't want to do a lot of drawings in this foreshortened way, either direction, because you miss, see, it sort of just kind of collapses itself. So a few, or 1 or 2, is all you need. Maybe this is enough of a turn. This is about as closed as you want to get. You can't get much detail.